Shalom, family. Shalom. Coming to you guys with a message today, and the really a question for you guys. And the question is, are you guys spiritually putting your signature on spiritual contracts? And if so, and if you are, what kind of contract have you signed? We are going to talk about this today to get to the bottom of spiritually putting your signature on a spiritual contract. We need to understand what a signature really is, because some people think it's just the name that you write down in cursive, but it goes deeper than this. It goes deeper than just writing your name down, and that's what we're going to talk about today. And from this video, you will be able to know what kind of spiritual contracts you have been putting your spiritual signature on. And you'll be able to decide if you want to stay in those contracts or break those contracts. And my next video is going to be helping you guys break those contracts. And some people might not want to break their contracts, okay? Some people might not want to break their contracts. That's not what I'm saying. But if you do happen to be a person that want to break their contract, I'll do a video on how you break that spiritual contract that you've been putting your signature on. Okay, so the first thing we need to understand is, what is the signature? Signature is two words put together. Most of our language, English, is other languages. There are other languages words pushed together, making a new word. They still keep the root meanings of the word. They put them together and they make other words. When you go to school if you're in the health field, a lot of the words they use root words and prefixes and suffixes. And you start to learn what prefixes and suffixes mean. So it's the same with regular words. They are mainly two words put together. So signature is sign and nature. Sign and nature. Now, to understand the importance of this, we need to look up the etymology of sign. And I'm going to close this up a little bit so we can really see the screen. Y'all need to see me y'all like that. So it say sign, plural, noun, signs. Okay, so it's an object, quality, or event whose presence or occurrence indicates the probable presence of an occurrence of something else. So say flowers are often given as a sign of affection. A sign of affection. Instead of saying sign of affection, we can say as an action of affection. So a sign is more than, it's an action. And that's actually one of the words for the definition of sign when you look it up. Something regarding as an indication or evidence of what is happening or going to happen. The signs are that counterfeiting is growing at an alarming rate. So it's used to indicate that someone or something is not present where they should be or are expecting to be. There was still no sign of her. An indication of a disease detectable by a medical practitioner, even if not apparent to the patient. A miracle regarded as evidence of supernatural power. Any trace of a wild animal, especially its tracks or droppings. A gesture or what, y'all? Action used to convey information or instructions. She gave him the thumbs up sign. A notice that is publicly displayed giving information or instructions in a written or symbolic form. This is why we need to study. See, people, they don't like books, but if you ask them what a signature is, they're not going to think about it in a way that it's an action. They're going to think about it as you writing your name. So let's get to the bottom of this. We understand that sign, the etymology of sign is action. But what about nature? Let's look up the etymology of nature. Now y'all gotta watch this to the end to really understand till the point is made. Don't skip out until you understand what kind of contracts you're in. Okay, so it say the first one, the phenomena or na of the physical world collectively, including plants, animals, the landscapes, and other features and products of Earth, as opposed to humans or human creations. So, of course, we know Earth and all of that stuff, nature, Mother Nature, wildlife. So it say also the physical force regarding as causing the regulation and regulating these phenomena. Two, the basic of inherent features of something, especially when seen as the characteristics of it, helping them to realize the nature of their problems, the root of their problems. We talked about the root chakra and the root yesterday. The innate or essential qualities of a character, the innate or essential qualities or character of a person or animal. So, what does signature mean? It means the actions of a person. Ain't that what it means? The actions of a person. That's what signature mean. The actions of a person. So, the actions of a person is their signature. Okay? Look, I'm trying not to jump ahead, but it's like it keep wanting to slip out, keep wanting to slip out. And I think y'all know what I'm gonna say now. Y'all know what I'm gonna say because it keep wanting to slip out. So it's the action of a person. I mean, how many times do we say we say stuff like that's their signature move? That's their signature move, or that's his signature rap voice, or that's his signature sound, or that's his action, that's his signature, his natural. So and we're gonna throw nature back up in there because it actually means your natural actions, your natural actions, the natural actions of a person. So what comes naturally to you? So when you say that's his signature move, that's the move that he always do. It come natural, it come fluently, okay? So it's the natural, your signature is your natural actions, okay? That's your signature. So we ain't even got to look up the etymology of signature because we done looked it up for sign and nature, and we've come to the conclusion that it's not just your written name. Let me make sure this ain't go off. But it's the actions, the natural actions of a person. Okay. The natural actions of a person. Look, I know this deep. This tripped me out when I got the download too. Like, gotta make a video about this. So the natural actions of a person. So now let's get into what a contract is. Let's look at that. Contract. A written or spoken agreement, especially one concerning employment, sales, or tenancy that is intended to be enforceable by law. Both parties must sign employment contracts. Agreement, commitment, arrangement, settlement, understanding, compact. And this is why in law they say, oh, the confession can't be coerced because it got to be natural. It has to be your own action. It has to be you wanting to come forth. It has to be your signature on that confession. Okay. So listen. And they make you sign it. Okay. So, but we getting into the deeper than that. Okay. The branch of law concerned with the making and okay, family, we got disconnected. They Is my phone working? Okay, it ain't jumping no more. Looking like it was jumping because they keep trying to mess up my phone. They don't want me to tell y'all this. I'm trying to tell y'all. They like she revealed all the secrets like Jesus Christ. Trying to tell you. I'm not saying I'm Jesus Christ. I have Christ consciousness, but I'm not Jesus. I'm Denisha Christ. Okay. So look. So okay, so we was on contract, and every time we get to the good part, I noticed lately they've been cutting my video off or something. I'm using this little app thing. So, and I know I got memory. I'm trying to clear stuff. Ain't even nothing to clear no more. Like, what? Okay, so listen. We was right here. Okay. An arrangement for someone to be killed by a hired assassin. The deck The declarer is undertaking to win the number of tricks bid with his stated suit as a trump. Okay, South can make the contract with correct place. Sorry, y'all, I had a thought. So let's say a formal agreement to marry. Now, verb, contract, third person, past tense, etc. Decrease in size, number, or range. Glass contracts as it cools. Of a muscle becomes shorter or tighter in order to affect movement of the part of the body. The heart is the muscle that contracts about 70 times a minute. Shorten a word or phrase by combination of I'm sorry, y'all. My vision is not good right now. Elation. I don't even know what that word is. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. I don't know that word. So it's I guess it's a synonym for shorten, abbreviated, cut, reduce, which we know. Okay. So enter into a formal or legally binding agreement. So this is the definition that we want right here. Binding. Your signature is your natural actions. Your signature move, your signature you. This is your signature. And those actions, your actions, is basically from the heart. We've been talking about the heart and the electromagnetic field and all this tie into it. Because you know how they say the heart is where your last decision is made. And actually, Brother Sanchez did a video on this last night. I didn't get to finish watching it. I caught the very end of it. So I'm gonna go watch it. And that's what he was saying. He was talking about the heart is where your last decisions is made. So that's why it's your heart is weighed in the balance. Okay, so enter into a formal and legally binding agreement. So your natural actions put you into a binding covenant, okay, a binding agreement, because it can mean covenant, secure specified rights or undertake specified obligations in a formal and legally binding agreement. Impose an obligation on someone to do something by means of a formal agreement. Arrange for work to be done by another organization. Formally enter into a marriage. Enter into a friendship. Catch or develop. So look, even enter into a friendship. How do we do that? With our actions. How we get into a relationship with a person is our actions. We always say actions speak louder than words. We're gonna have to show me, not tell me, and this, that, and third. Okay, so you are spiritually signing contracts every day. And you need to know how you signing these contracts. You need to know what kind of contracts you signed in when you put in your actions towards something. And you need to understand that when you do that, it's binding you to that. And when we're talking about spiritual contracts and your spiritual signature, which is still your action, so your physical actions are binding you to what your spiritual actions are going to be like. Okay, you already contracted. You are contracting your afterlife right now. I've been trying to explain this to you guys that the physical manifests your spiritual body. It manifests your spiritual realm, where what you are going to be. Your inner is going to be manifested mainly, and even in this world, but mainly in the next world, because this is where it's important. This is where it's important. This is like a test, like, you know what I'm saying. But in the next world, this is where it's going to be important. So you already then signed these contracts with your actions. So for example, like I explained to y'all in my roots video, if you a killer and you just a killer and that's your signature move, that's your signature action, and you're binding to that, uh, you're agreeing to those actions, you're consenting to that, you're contracting to that, then you know where your afterlife is going to be, somewhere where the killers be. Shoot, I'm not trying to be somewhere where the killers be. That's where you going to be. Okay, we need to understand how we are spiritually putting our signature on spiritual contact contracts, and even physically putting our signature on physical contracts. And I'm not talking about writing your name. I'm talking about with your physical actions, your signature move. Okay, your signature move. Let me see something else. So you're gonna be binded to your actions. I was just trying to see if I had anything else wrote down, if I had missed something that I had wrote down. So you're going to be binded to those actions in the next realm. That's what's going to happen. We need to understand these things. Your physical does affect your spiritual. You're not going to just do whatever you want in this life and think you're going to go to the next life and not have consequences. Now, it's not like it's a punishment, because and I agree with that. It's like you already signed your own contract to go where you want to go, which is heaven or hell. And we're going to say it in those terms, not because, oh, I'm so into the Bible and them the only terms I know, but because those are terms that people are familiar with. And when I say heaven and hell, everybody know what I'm talking about. If I say Shambhala and something in another culture, y'all gonna be like, what? We don't know what you're talking about. So you see what I'm saying? That's why I speak in terms of what people understand. You have to speak in terms of what people understand. So I'm saying heaven and hell for this instance. So if you want to go to heaven or hell, you are signing your contract right now to go to wherever you want to go. If you want to go to hell, do all the hellish things that you want to do, that you going that's where you're always talking about resonating with something. This is the real resonation. Okay, this is the real resonation. Whatever you resonate with here is what you're going to resonate with in your spiritual world. And you need to understand and really decide, is this what I want to resonate with? Really understand that. Now, people always want to talk about they don't believe in God or the Bible or whoop de whoop whoop. Let me tell you something. Nobody has to believe in God. He believes in you. Nobody has to believe in the devil. He believes in you. You want to know why? Because The devil and God are manifested in your actions, okay? Devil and God is manifesting in your actions. That's why when you add a O to God, you get good. And when you add a D to evil, you get devil. Okay? If you want to be a devil, you want to be evil, you're going to go to hell with the devils and where the evil people be. Simple as that. Nobody's sending you nowhere. Nobody's sending you to hell. You signed your own contract to go there. You binded your own self to those actions. I don't know how else to make it clearer than that, but hopefully everybody can understand what I'm saying. I'm going to reiterate. Sign means your actions. Nature means what comes natural to you. Oh, hold on. Well, we on it right now, so let's just look it up. What comes natural to you? The basic or inherent features of something, especially when seen as the characteristics of it, helping them realize the nature, the roots of the problem, who you are at the root, who you are at heart. Okay? Who are you at heart? And what are you spiritually? The heart will be weighed in the balance. What kind of contracts are you signing? The innate or essential qualities of character of a person or animal, the nature of a person. It's not in her nature to listen to advice. So, all y'all on here, y'all don't want to read books. I feel sad for y'all. That's a sad shame. It's not in your nature to read. So you know what? In your spiritual world, you're gonna be dumb as a doorknob. And this is not for my people who like books, and I definitely not for any of my subscribers, because I'm sure y'all like books, and I'm sure y'all like knowledge, and I'm sure y'all like to learn, and I'm sure y'all gonna get everything y'all need to know and be super prepared for the spiritual realm, and I'm sure y'all gonna manifest all the things y'all want to manifest in the physical realm and have it in the spiritual realm. You gonna resonate with what you resonate with. All right, y'all. Shalom, family. Till we meet again. Oh, one more thing. Because we gotta talk about karma. Because this was supposed to tie it all in together. So karma mean action, or performance. So when we say your karma, what goes around comes around, that's real, not only in this life, but in the next. Whatever you did in this life is going to affect you in your spiritual life. And I've been telling y'all that. I done told y'all that in my what comes first, the physical or the spiritual video. I repeated it in the Finding Your Roots video, how to really become grounded. So it's a Hinduism, Buddhism, Sikhism, Jainism. The sum total of a person's actions, which determines the person's next incarnation in samsara, the cycle of death and rebirth. A force, what was nature? A force, okay? A force or law of nature. Oh, dang, it's right there. Which causes one to reap what one sows, destiny, fate, a distinctive feeling or aura or atmosphere. All right, we ain't gotta go no further. I had to throw that last part in there. I knew I was forgetting something. Karma. Okay, this how we wrap it all up. This your it's that simple. It's that deep yet that simple. Okay, it's that deep yet that simple. Now, that's the last thing I'm gonna say. I ain't gonna take up too much of your time. I hope y'all got that. I hope y'all understand that your actions you doing, that you binding yourself to, that how they say bad habits. It's just a bad habit. We got to get out of our bad habits. All right, y'all. Sins. Look, y'all don't want to be for real because y'all don't want to get the Bible no credit. Because y'all, come on, sins. It's with those bad habits and other terms could be called. And I'm not, like I said, you can call this, it's different words for many different things, but I'm going to speak the terminology that I know everybody on my platform is going to understand. How I told y'all, we all know what heaven and hell is, so I'm going to say that. Now, like I said, y'all don't know what Shamala and all of the other cultures and all of that stuff is. If I did want to use that terminology, you wouldn't understand it. So, just like Paul said in the scriptures when he was telling the disciples about tongues, you don't speak to people in your own language. You speak to them in the language that they gonna understand you, or you gotta have an interpreter there to interpret to the people. And you know how we do now when people speak a different language, we do what? We get the interpreter out and they stand there and they interpret back and forth. Why y'all act like the Bible say a bunch of stuff that's not normal? That's what tripped me out. But all right, y'all. Shalom, family, because I don't want to ramble till we meet again.